Hi there everyone, I'm Jaden Bollinger. I'm here with the fourth and last blog for the Democratic Republic of the Congo. In this blog, I'd like to talk a little bit about Mobutu's reign. Last time we covered the M23, talked about the Congo Wars, and then the general history of the Congo. Now I want to talk a little bit about Mobutu because he's a very unique figure in the Congo's history. Well, I say unique, but really he's one person in a very long line of succession of using the Congo's resources in a way that doesn't benefit all of its people. He is probably one of the richest, yet also most corrupt figures in the entire 20th century. As we discussed, he took power in the early 60s. He was pretty much propped up by the United States and the Belgians after Patrice Lumumba, who was elected as essentially the head of the Congo, could not get the support he needed from the United States, and so turned to the Soviet Union, despite having no communist ties himself. He requested foreign aid from the Soviet Union in order to fight the Katangan rebels, these separatist rebels in the southeast of the country, which were supported by the Belgians, because they wanted to hold on to the mineral resources in that area. And when he was ignored by the US, he went to the Soviets. And by proxy of being in contact with the Soviets, Dwight D. Eisenhower and that administration deemed him a communist. And essentially it was a death sentence. When the United States and the Belgians got their hands on him, they turned him over to the Katangan rebels, who then killed him. Mobutu was a high-ranking African officer in the army at the time, which was quite rare. The United States and Belgium saw him as an opportunity. It was very clear that how he rose up in life, that he would be kind of a useful asset. He was heavily influenced by the writings of Machiavelli. It is said that he carried a copy of The Prince on him many times and had it on his bedstand. He read through it and often even times quoted it. And so he's very much driven by the idea that the ends justifies the means, and is very cognitive of those kind of power plays. He was all about the idea of power and showing his power to the rest of the world. When he came into his position, one of the first things he did was copy Chairman Mao in a lot of ways. He banned Western business attire in the country, adopting a form of dress very similar to how Chairman Mao dressed. Very simplistic, although he included Africanized elements into it. Where Chairman Mao would only wear this kind of gray suit, Mobutu was a bit more flamboyant with it. He used very popular African designs that were very colorful. And he also had his signature leopard print cap, his thick brim glasses. He was very fashionable, I guess. In a similar way that he changed that outfit, he also took Chairman Mao's idea of a cultural revolution and applied it to the Congo, which he then renamed Zaire, which is a far cry from the Belgian Congo. It's in no way European. It's a Congolese name, essentially. He also changed the name of several cities. The capital, Leopoldville, named after Leopold, who had killed millions of Congolese, was renamed to Kinshasa. And he even changed his own name. His original name was Joseph Désiré, and he made his own name Mobutu Sese Seko Kuku Nubenga Wasapanka. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but I did get it all in, and I remembered it, which literally translates to the all-powerful warrior who, because of his endurance and inflexible will to win, will go from conquest to conquest, leaving fire in his wake. Now, suffice to say that the rule of Mobutu was one plagued with endemic corruption. He himself amassed over $5 billion in personal wealth through his reign. And this is because, frankly, the mining sectors in the Congo were going very strong at this time. Because it was a Western-backed dictatorship, it was also the West backing the country financially. Aside from just buying goods from them, the United States was also pouring foreign investment into the country essentially just buying the Congolese people so that the state would still exist. And it became heavily reliant on that foreign investment. After the fall of the Soviet Union, however, the cracks really started to show. A lot of the public programs that had been funded by the United States had to be cut immediately. They did not have funding for it. Mobutu was not willing to give up his personal wealth. Neither were his cronies at the top of his regime. And so the general Congolese people fell into very hard times. And this became a huge time, the early 90s, of just economic devastation. After increasing domestic and international pressures, he began to allow elections in 1990 and even had to enter a coalition to stay in power. I hope this gave a few more insights into the kind of period in between when Mobutu was controlling the country, and kind of show how even when the Congo gained independence, it was not free from that Western influence. It was not free from those institutions which essentially sapped all Congolese people of all of their resources and all of their wealth to benefit one single person. And honestly, while it has changed, it's still a lot of those same institutions and same people in power are still having influence today in the country, as well as the West in general. Although new players like China are becoming more and more influential, especially with that mining sector. And really, Mobutu had the opportunity when he took control to completely change the surface of the Congo. And in many ways he did, on paper, change the names of places, try to make cultural reform. But on the ground, that same exploitation that was happening under him. And yeah, a lot of arresting of news media outlets that didn't agree with him, a lot of secret executions, things like that. Very typical of a kind of mid-19th century dictatorial regime. I hope this offered some insights. This is the last blog I'm doing on the Congo this semester. I hope you all have a good winter break.